So you're wondering what a podcast is? Good question. I'm going to start off by saying it's not a video. Okay, it can be a video, but it's not a video. I'll explain a little bit more as we go through this video. But if we're meeting for the first time, then hi, my name's Liam. I'm an e-products manager working for a national training provider in the UK, and I love creating online learning experiences. Whether that be through videos such as this one, podcast, or even formalised courses, I love taking people's knowledge and sharing that with others to help them on their journeys. And that's what I'm sharing on my YouTube channel. So if you're new here, then why not consider subscribing, because I'm going to be sharing tips, tricks and ideas on how you can promote what it is that you do by recording and repurposing your content across various social media platforms to help you do what it is that you love. Now, you're here because you're interested in what podcasts are. Maybe it's because somebody's told you should start one. Maybe it's just you've heard podcasts thrown around a little bit and you're not too sure. I mean, to be honest, podcasts have been around for a while, so I'm a little bit worried why you haven't heard of them before this video. But in all seriousness, it is a little bit confusing. I know for myself, I'm connected with a few people on LinkedIn and other platforms where they mention they're going to be recording their next podcast episode. But actually, what they mean is they're recording a live stream that they're sharing with their audience that isn't actually then released as a podcast for me to listen to at a later date. So I get a little bit confused with it as well, and those people certainly are as well. No offense, but a podcast just simply isn't a video. And if you don't believe me, let's ask Google what it thinks. So as you can see here, Google tells us that a podcast is a digital audio file that is made available over the internet for downloading to a computer or a mobile device. Typically available as a series, new installments can be downloaded by subscribers automatically. So hopefully that's my point proven there. And if the terminology is still a little bit complex to understand, I like to think of it as you having the chance to create your own personal radio show, although it's not live because all podcasts are pre-recorded. You have the ability to remove the gatekeepers and talk to an audience who's interested in hearing what it is that you have to say, whilst also enabling you to control what's advertised on your podcast. But how do we actually go about creating a podcast? Good question. Well, first of all, what we need to do is record our audio. So there's various show formats, whether you're a single solo host talking into the microphone, whether that be scripted or just off the cuff, whether you're interviewing guests and having co-hosts present your show with you to have a bit more of a conversation, or even if you've gone for more of a narrative podcast. It all starts with the audio file, so you've needed to record your audio, do a little bit of light editing if you're a little bit loose with your ums and ers, and even adding music to your episode. And once you've got your audio file prepared and ready to share with the world, then what we need to do is upload our podcast to a media host. Now, you can upload this to your own website, but it's not recommended purely because it's going to slow your website down with the amount of traffic that hopefully you're going to get with listeners tuning into each episode that you release. So if we think about it in regards to having a media host where we upload our podcast to, or a place where we can store all our episodes and send them out to the various listeners that are interested in our show, we then need to link that media host to a podcast distributor such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon I think are starting podcasts now, but you get the idea, the place where people go to listen to their podcast episodes. These are generally located as apps on people's phones, or even just something you can search for on the web. Now, having an internet connection is key for people to listening to your podcasts, because once we've got our media host setting up our RSS feed or our connection to the podcast distributors, every time you schedule a podcast episode to be released, our audience who hopefully have already subscribed to our show will then get an automatic notification to say that your next episode is ready to download, and then they can listen as soon as it's available. So I hope that's helped you with your understanding of what a podcast is. If it has, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up. If you're still interested in creating your own show, if that's the route that you're thinking about going down, then I've created a whole series on podcasting, and I'd love to share my tips, tricks and ideas of how you can make that a success for promoting what it is you do in this playlist here. And if you're keen to know a little bit more about who I am, then click on this video here.